Alright, so on Thursday night, me and Ade did the first episode of Ade and G-Man. We recorded the Thursday night, and it was brilliant. And during which time we talked about the two big guys in the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. And, both speculate on what's going to happen with Tyson Fury in his quote-unquote retirement. And, not that I believe he's retired, But we speculate about if he is retired, what happens with Anthony Joshua. Now, I chucked the name Dylan White out there because I just thought, okay, look, Joshua is probably most likely done. But Dylan White looked so bad against it. Like, honestly, he could not have looked worse if he tried against Ebenezer Tete than he did. It actually surprised me how bad he looked. Really surprised me how bad he looked. And I thought, you know what? Just do that in the O2. Do it in the O2. Slap it on the zone. And let AJ have a confidence builder. Or, get a knockout, a devastating knockout, and move on. And that he disagreed with me. Which is fine. Everyone entitled to their own opinion. And the argument he gave, which was a very good argument, and I can't really argue with it, was, well, hasn't he not already had that? He beat up Ottavalian, former sparring partner, beat him up, and then decimated Francis Ngannou in 2 rounds, knocked him out cold. If he's not, he went into the Dubois fight off the back of those 2 devastating performances, and that still wasn't enough. What's knocking Dylan White going to do now at 35? And he's absolutely right with that. So then my argument was then, well, with Dubois, when he lost to Alexander Usyk, Frank just put him straight in at the deep end. And it was the right thing to do. In my opinion, it was a stroke of genius from Frank Warren to put him in there with Jarrell Miller. And my argument was, well, where's the Jarrell Miller for Anthony Joshua? And as he said, well, you just said it. And it's true. Jarrell Miller versus Anthony Joshua. Miller... we obviously have Chisora versus Valine next weekend, but before that fight was announced, a lot of people were saying it was going to be Jarrell Miller versus Derek Chisora. A more intriguing fight, in my opinion, that would have been than probably what we're going to get next week. Could be wrong, but just saying. And I thought, okay, Miller versus Joshua. There is rumours that Fabio Wadley is in conversation with Jarrell Miller, but let's just hypothetically say he's not. And Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua, they want to fight before deciding what they do next. I think that could be the perfect fight to make, because let's look at it like this, right? Is Jarrell Miller a top 10 heavyweight? In my opinion, no. In my opinion, no, he isn't. In my opinion, he was very unlucky not to get the nod against Andy Ruiz. I think he should have won that fight. I really do. Ruiz had some moments there, but it was a Jarrell Miller fight in my opinion. I felt like he should have won the fight. Against Dubois, he was way too, he's always too heavy, but even in that fight, he was way too heavy. He had a couple of good rounds in him. He put pressure on Dylan White, I put pressure on Dubois, I should say, but he succumbed to the punching power of Dubois. And look, had the referee not jumped in there, I think he would have touched down. Dubois is a tremendous puncher, devastating puncher, absolutely devastating. So I don't think he's top level, but is he in the top 15? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd say he is. Joshua won't find it hard to miss him. He's a big 6'4", 300-pound man. He's a behemoth of a man. He will come at Anthony Joshua and he will throw probably not as many punches as he did 5-6 years ago. We all know why, but he will still set a high volume. He'll still set a pace. And Anthony Joshua, I've always speculated that type of style, along with movers, because when you look back at Joshua in the amateurs, the likes of Savon movers, always gave him trouble. So that's why when he fought Usyk, you kind of look and think, oh boy, that's going to be problematic if it's anything like what he was in the amateurs. But I also speculated that a fighter who can take Anthony Joshua's power, push him back, and then set a pace, even if he's not necessarily a destructive puncher, which Jarrell Miller isn't, but he's going to be hitting you everywhere. He's going to be hitting you into the head, to the body, to the shoulders, to the arm. Anywhere you can find the punch, he's going to be punching at you. That's the type of style that you'd look at and think, oh, how would he handle that? Especially if he's not detracting Miller from coming forward. How would he react to that? And we maybe would have known in 2019, but we all know what happened with Jarrell Miller. And it would have been interesting. We still have never seen that face-to-face. Because Miller and Joshua, say what you want to say, they do not like one another. They do not. The angriest I ever seen was when an interviewer pointed out to Anthony Joshua that Jarrell Miller mentioned his mum, And you could see Joshua in that whole interview. He couldn't gather his thoughts. He was furious. You seen it in the Day of Reckoning kickoff show. They weren't even fighting one another. And all it was Miller goading Anthony Joshua and just goading him. And really, you know, they do not like one another. So I think that the build-up alone to this fight will be pay-per-view in of itself. We finally get to see the Jarrell Miller Anthony Joshua face-to-face, 6 years later. But we still get, and not the original, obviously, but you know what I mean. And I think the fight will be interesting. You know, Joshua, I think, coming back from that knockout defeat, he'll be gun-shy. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to be gun-shy. He will be. Jarrell Miller is the kind of guy where if you are a bit gun-shy and you need to get it into your head, let your shots go. He's the kind of guy who's going to make you let the shots go. One, he's going to antagonize you so much that you're going to want to take his head clean off. And second of all, he's going to be coming at you non-stop. He's just going to be coming on. He's going to be coming at you like a bad smell comes at you. He's going to be on you like white to rice. You're going to need to punch to get him off you. You're going to need to deter him. You're going to need to stop him in his tracks. So, and any jitters, I should say, in Anthony Joshua's, well, there's a lot of jitters. I was going to say in Anthony Joshua's armor, there's a lot of them. But any kind of trepidation about where you're at, you know, can I do this? Well, they'll be answered in that fight. And in many ways, that's the type of fight that would probably tell us where Anthony Joshua really is, genuinely really is at this point in his career, rather than a Dillian Whyte blowout job. And to be honest with you, people say, well, Dillian Whyte might make more money. Well, not necessarily. You know, the UK, it'd be much of a muchness. I mean, I'm sure that they could, well, look, Jarrell Miller, Anthony Joshua would sell the hell out of that fight because of the back and forth, the beef that's there. It's genuine with these two. They really, truly don't like one another. It wouldn't be... I think there's an element of respect between Whyte and Joshua. There certainly wasn't anything major happening in the run-up to their second fight, which never happened. This one would just be, you know what it would be. It'd be Matador against Bull in the ring. And yeah, man, I think it would genuinely. If Joshua came... Look, Joshua is not Dubois. He's not 20... At the time, Dubois was, 25 years old. Dubois hadn't taken anywhere near the type of punishment in his career that Joshua had taken, especially in the Usyk fight. He hadn't taken that type of punishment. He'd not been, he'd been stopped twice, but he'd not been, dropped multiple times. And in the Dubois fight, Joshua was nearly knocked out cold. So I don't think he'd be able to do what Dubois has done. But certainly a fight like this, it might be what Anthony Joshua needs. But saying that, what's the deal with Anthony Joshua? We don't know who is he going to be. Because he's going to come back, but who is he? Is he going to stay with Ben Davison? I mean, I'd be a bit... I don't know. I would go back to Derek James, personally. Derek James or Robert Garcia. I really would. But yeah, we don't even know what the situation is with trainers with Anthony Joshua. But if he does fight this year, which is likely he will, just depends on who it is, Jarrell Miller is the name I'll be putting forward. I would 100%. I really, truly would. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, people. For now, I will leave it. Smash the like button. I hope you enjoyed the video. All that good stuff. Happy Saturday. I hope you have a great Saturday. And yeah, until next time. Peace.